Think twice before you lose Mary or Tom. You might live to regret it, because the day they leave is the day you realize how much you've lost. In the NHS, we're tempted all the time to have better productivity, better efficiency, and typically this means what? Layoffs. People are going to have to lose their job. This is a race, I can assure you, to the bottom. Chasing those shiny new tech and new innovatives, new ways of working, all of those types of things, we can get drunk off the necessity to let people go, to bring about redundancies, strip away the buzzwords and what keeps the whole thing moving, and that is people. And not just any people. It's your Marys, it's your Toms, the ones with years of experience, the ones that are diligent and quietly get on with the job. They're not necessarily in senior management, but they have a wealth of knowledge and expertise. The ones who hold the unspoken map to your very organization. They know in depth the goings on, the processes within the processes, the back doors, the relationships, the workarounds, who to contact. But when they're gone, you don't just lose that staff member. You lose your true north, your compass. Suddenly the team that was efficient and working before is a team stuck on a perpetuating first day level, reinventing the wheel. Every interaction feels like a first date, repeating the old mistakes, wasting hours of time. You have problems again with staff retention. Thinking about letting go of Mary and Tom. Really? These people have solved problems that have been going on for decades. So now you're wasting hours fixing problems that were solved years ago. Let me just break this down to you, how frustrating it is as somebody that works in transformations to have to constantly have to battle decision makers about this. You lose a long-serving clinical governance lead, and automatically your audits slow down. Your safety procedures are compromised. Trust starts to fade, not only with the patients, but with the staff and other organizations. Lose that procurement officer that's been around for decades, and you see costly errors, failed tenders, delayed supplies. In my area of expertise, innovation, this is where I see the real danger. This is where it amplifies and multiplies. Rolling out, for example, AI in a pharmacy department or a remote monitoring system isn't just about the tech. You need process owners who understand local workflows, regulations, and more importantly, something I wax lyrical all the time, which is the human side of change. Change brought about by change by choice, because you're able to offer a viable alternative to the status quo. Without them, innovation turns into a race with no map. Fast, but in the wrong direction. But speed without governance is just chaos. Just chaos. Every new technology must be clinically validated before it hits the floor, before it's put in the hands of clinicians, before it impacts on the quality of care we deliver to patients. It must be validated properly, not because it's a trend, not because it's a tick box exercise, but because that's the safe and right thing to do. This means multidisciplinary leadership, governance, clinicians, digital minds working together from the very start. Not halfway through a project, you're going to start now dismembering team members, letting people go that were actively contributing positively to a project. National standards set the guardrails, but it is local wisdom that keeps you on the road. And that wisdom lives in your Marys and Toms. Here is where I see the leadership challenge. First, you must, if you work on digital transformation, controlling budgets, and you have to make that tough call. Your first job is to identify your Marys and Toms, the quiet operators who keep the engine running. Even when nobody's watching, identify them. They're not going to be waving the flag and say, me, 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 me. You have to do the work. They're not hard to get hold of because they are difficult people. It's because they're found doing the work. So you might not necessarily see them in boardroom meetings all the time, but your job is to seek them out. Second, when you do find them, you have to acknowledge them. You have to protect them. Give them flexibility where that allows. Recognize, acknowledge the great work they're doing, and allow them to grow in your organization. And whatever you do, don't let them go just to balance this year's books. Because you know what? Change is always going to come. And next year, you might be in a position where you will totally regret that decision. You need to be thinking about knowledge preservation for your organization. Too many NHS trusts have a deficit in knowledge and expertise. They have new starters and those about to retire. Knowledge preservation is key. You have to encourage it. But know this, when your backbone leaves, your body weakens. Retaining those people isn't just a kind sentiment. It is your survival tactic. Because without them, the NHS loses not just staff, but resilience and the ability to respond at times when it truly matters. We've had COVID, global pandemic. We have the spiraling costs of living crisis. A&Es are struggling. This is not the time to think about cutting those key members of staff. In times of change, you'd be tempted to focus on the numbers. Don't get me wrong. But numbers won't get you through the next winter crisis, or your next safety alert, or your next CQC visit. Your people will. I'll say this again. Stop. Think twice before you let go of your Mary and Tom. Because once they're gone, you can't buy them back. What they've taken with them, that knowledge, you cannot easily replace it. So think twice.